Welcome to Section 1 of the Lean Enterprise Corporate Innovation Certification. In this section, author Trevor Owens explains why big companies need to innovate now more than ever before. He goes over the latest research and statistics on innovation and sets the stage for the rest of the course. By the end of this section, you'll be able to explain the forces driving the fundamental change in how big companies think about innovation.
In 15 years, 75% of the S&P 500 will be replaced by new companies. What this means is that for anybody in this room or for anyone who becomes a new parent, by the time your kids reach high school, all of the most valuable companies that we know today will be surpassed by companies we maybe don't even know about. This was the conclusion reached by Dr. Richard Foster of Yale. He studied 100 years of stock market data, and he saw that over the last 50 years, the amount of time that the world's most valuable companies spend on top has decreased consistently from about 60 years on average to 17 years today. Here are an example of some of the companies that have fallen off the S&P 500 list in the last decade. See a lot of companies that we recognize, all different industries, including technology. And here are the companies that replace them. I see eBay, Google, Netflix, and even Amazon since 2002. So while this trend has been happening over the last 50 years, a more recent phenomenon has happened in just the past 10. The startup renaissance. Never before in history have companies reached billion-dollar valuations so quickly. And never before have so many. In fact, globally, there is over 50 different companies founded in the last 10 years that are now billion-dollar valuation. And venture investors actually refer to billion-dollar startups as unicorns. It's a little weird that we have 50 unicorns today. So what's driving this entrepreneurial renaissance is a lot of things, but mainly economics. Services like AWS, in fact, there's a whole suite of business services that make it so that you can pay as you go, pay for what you use for other things like legal, accounting, office space. They've made it so cheap to get started and also cheap to scale. So the cost of failure for someone starting a new business has never been lower. In fact, it's almost immaterial at this point. And these changes in economics have driven a massive increase in the amount of investment going into the startup sector. In fact, startup investment has increased tenfold over the last 10 years, almost tenfold. So the combination of the economics and the abundance of capital creates a great opportunity for startups. But some of the smartest enterprises also see this as an opportunity for themselves. Why shouldn't they benefit from the exact same economics that startups do? And large companies as well have a giant war chest that which they can fund disruptive businesses. In fact, the corporate America has an order of magnitude more capital than all of Silicon Valley investors combined. Not to mention a vast network of expertise for which they can stay on the leading edge. At the heart of this opportunity is a new kind of innovation that's fundamentally different from what companies have been doing over the last 50 years.